Happy Friday, guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Dubs. I'm your host, Bill T. Well, the big weekend finally came and went, and it's been incredible. Last week we did a roundtable on it. I think I'll probably have a couple more roundtables because there was so much going on at one crazy weekend. I'm sure you guys have seen it on Instagram. It's been 2 weeks now since the event, and there's been, still to this day, there's memes and reels and stuff popping up all over the place. There was just so much. A lot of content creators were there, picking up a lot of good stuff. There was just such a variety of vehicles there, and more importantly, it was a great weekend for VW people to be out here. So, if you miss it this year, man, don't miss it next year. I'm currently I'm in negotiations with some things about making a few changes. I've got to check out a few possible variables that are gonna make a little bit of difference. So I haven't put out the dates for next year, but I'm quite certain our goal is to keep it first weekend in October, and I'll keep you posted as soon as we have it. There's a lot of really good feedback for the show. People just raved about the 80s car setup. There was just such a good vibe all weekend because everybody was just there having fun, and it was really cool to be able to have your car parked right out in front of the hotel casino and then kind of pull your car in and out during the weekend. Go do what you're going to do, and a lot of people had a really good time. You know, the Type 34 guys went on a cruise through Red Rock. It's just a great time, and we'll kind of have another breakdown with George about the one crazy weekend, some possibilities for some future add-ons and things like that. So this week's podcast is Tuff and Nuff. So Rick Stanchfield has been the pilot of Tuff and Nuff, which was a drag car that he started back in the 70s, and still owns that car to this day. He's relocated to Arizona, and he's been known for building engines, transmissions. He's been involved with lots and lots of people in the VW history, especially in the early, in the 70s in the California scene and all that stuff. So Rick's a great dude. He actually was out here for the weekend. We hung out for a bit, and it was good getting to sit down with him and get his history. He's been a good dude, and he's been heavily involved in the scene for a long time. So it's a great story. I know you guys are going to enjoy it, but make sure you guys support those that support Let's Talk Dubs. VW Trends Magazine, a magazine for the people, by the people. Eventually, one day, they're going to come out with Zorba in the magazine because I gave them the exclusive for the U.S. If you'll notice, in the last couple Hot VWs, I had cars there. My chop top was there, and it was referred to as Jim Moto's car. What's interesting is I'm pretty heavy in the VW scene, and I never knew who Jim Moto was. I knew the car, but I never knew who Jim Moto was, which was the previous owner of the car, the chop top that I own. But it was interesting how they did that. And then there was a couple features of some other events that I was at. The VW Revival, 1,000 Beetles, maybe 2 Type 34 Gias there. Zorba was there, no pictures of Zorba. And then I took first at the Rare Air VW show. I took Best Type 3 and no pictures of Zorba. They had plenty of pictures of taco plates, and here's a food vendor. And I'm just trying to figure out if they know who their demographic is that they're selling the magazines to. I had an interesting conversation yesterday with a podcast I wrapped up with Scott Hopkins. He's a guy out of Georgia. He's got a pretty rad split window, custom 56, the split window grafted in it, and it's kind of hot rod style. He'll be on next week's podcast. But it was interesting how this was a guy from Georgia, and we talked about the VW scene, the magazines, the exposure we're getting, and they just said, yeah, it just seems like, it seems like some of the magazines, all they care about is cow look cars. I said, yeah, some people get it, some people don't, and it's just interesting to me. So that's why you should subscribe to VW Trends Magazine. There's a wide variety of stuff. VW Trends Magazine bringing it to you from all over the country, showing the true VW scene in the nation. So a wide variety of cars from different backgrounds. Listen, you may not be into all of them, but the point of a magazine is to showcase the scene, the hobby, and VW Trends. What a more fitting name than VW Trends, right? The trends that are going on currently in the VW scene. So there's lots to be seen, and make sure you subscribe today at VWTrendsMagazine.com so you don't miss an issue, and you'll get the exclusive feature for Zorba the Gia if you haven't received your European magazines, which Zorba covered on both of those, Volksworld and Air Mighty. But anyway, back to what's coming up now. Well, actually, I got a few more sponsors to mention. So we've also got Ross Wolf. Ross Wolf was at One Crazy Weekend, and they sponsored the bowling tournament, which was an excellent time. A lot of people had fun bowling. George T won the bowling tournament, so he was pretty excited about that. Don Santos walked away with the cash, so she got 2 consecutive strikes and 2 frames that needed to be, and so she walked away with a bundle of money, and lots of good times were had at One Crazy Weekend. So Ross Wolf, high quality aftermarket parts for the people, by the people. Make sure you go subscribe, not subscribe. What am I talking about? Make sure. Guys, every week I do this. I do everything freestyle. I'm sure some of you can tell that are in professional audio organizations, and the rest of you are just like, oh, okay, that's our boy Bill. Well, that's how I do it. So, Ross Wolf, high quality aftermarket parts made for enthusiasts by enthusiasts. So go get some today at rosswolf.com. Matter of fact, I just ordered some more Viton, a couple more Viton push rod seals. Got a motor back that had been dripping and drizzling here and there. So ordered some Viton push rod seals. They got those. Stop the push rod seal leak. Okay, go get you some Viton push rod seals from Ross Wolf at rosswolf.com. And also Icon pistons. You want the highest quality aftermarket pistons you can get for your Volkswagen. You're building a race car and you care about it. Go get you some Icon pistons. Available at places like CB Performance, Churco Performance, and Type E Motorsports. My boy Brian over there just picked up a IRS conversion kit. Here's a free plug for Brian. Picked up an IRS conversion kit from him because the Bull Run bus, soon to be the Let's Talk Dubs bus, is going to be converted to IRS so that we can lay it fully out on the hydraulic system that's on it, which hopefully that car will debut this summer. And well, not hopefully, it will, without a shadow of a doubt. And it'll debut this summer, and you guys will get your chance to check it out and see what the IRS kit's all about. And the reason I'm converting it to IRS is, first, I can't stop George from yelling at me about going to IRS because he hates swing axle, hates the axle leaks, all that stuff. Second, we can keep that wheel camber dialed in while laying out the car. It's funny, the rest of the scene copies the Volkswagen rear camber because they think it looks so cool. And Volkswagen guys are trying to eliminate some of that camber and get those wheels straight up and down. So with the IRS conversion, we'll be able to lay that car pretty much on the ground. And also have a lot more articulation. It's just a technological advancement in the evolution of that rear suspension. So going to be doing that coming up here over the winter, and that bad girl will be back on the road. I'm excited to get that done. The motor's over at Adam Wicks right now getting gone through, and so the Type 4 is getting redone. The Jake Raby Type 4 that I had that's a guy I haven't had the podcast. Maybe I should reach out to Jake, get him on the podcast. He built that Type 4 motor for me 20 some years ago, and just kind of pulling it apart and going through, freshening it up. It's got thousands and thousands of miles on it. And it's time for a freshen up because we're going to bolt up a little, I don't want to say turbo setup, but you do the math. So going to go ahead and improve the Bull Run bus once more. So you guys will get a load of that when it's done. I'm excited for that coming up. There's lots of stuff out there with other stuff happening, and a lot of cars in the wings coming out that are going to be coming out here in the next year or so that are excited. I'm watching some builds out there. So, and looking forward to bringing you guys some more content on next week's podcast with Scotty talking about a few guys that are making suspension parts and that on the East Coast. Getting some more of my East Coast people out here because, again, this podcast is to showcase the VW hobby throughout, whether it's their history or, these are guys that are currently doing stuff. So make sure you want to get everybody some exposure because that's what the scene's all about, right, is the people. So if you were at One Crazy Weekend, you would know that. What I love about One Crazy Weekend, it's an insane weekend for me. I have almost no time to run around making sure everything is happening. It's kind of taking on this all-consuming thing for me, and I have to go back and watch videos and stuff to make sure that I get to appreciate everything that was there. And still, even then, I don't get to see. I didn't even get to sit down and really take in all the stuff done to Aftershock that was built by Steve Connect. Just an incredible car. Hoping to see that at the Grand National Roadster Show. That car deserves to be showcased over there. So hopefully they'll get that car over there and get it on display. It was an amazing car. and just looking at all the work that was done to that thing. So much that you can't just walk by the car and really see it. You got to really dig down deep and check it out. So I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing that thing when I'm not in the middle of a show. But one of the things that really was getting me excited about One Crazy Weekend is I love seeing all the people from all over the world meet up and hang out. You know, in the Beetle Barn bus that was piloted by the Brits, the Aussies were in there, and it was just too cool. You know, Marco and Mark come down from Australia. They fly 20 hours to get here just to go to One Crazy Weekend. And they just said it was the best VW event they'd been to because there was just so much going on, so much energy and excitement. And we're looking to keep that going, guys. We're looking to make it only better. So lots of things going to be happening for next year that I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy. So yeah, I know it sounds like a plug for One Crazy Weekend, but you know what? I'm so excited about this event, about how it brings our community together, how there's not a bunch of different factions of this group over here, that group over there, and this club over here. It's like everybody comes and hangs out. Everybody comes, hangs out. Guys you thought would never be hanging out are hanging out together in the bowling alley, you know, playing poker together, or you know, at the bar. But it's a great time, and it's really a good place for VW people to kind of link up and hang out. And especially people, you know, when Bob Cook came out from the East Coast, it was just cool to see him tow cars out from Maryland. You know, Bob Daniels brought his car out from Pennsylvania. I mean, so many people bringing stuff out here, you know, thousands of miles to come to this event. And that's what it is. It's a 3-day event. So it's worth the drive to come out here to have 3 days of just nonstop fun. So that's what it was. And if you miss it this year, don't miss it next year. We're probably going to put a cap on the amount of cars that can come in. The thought process going forward is going to be, I'll have the car spaces up like movie theaters almost, and you'll pick those per space, and you'll buy each space individually, because it's more of the space is more of a it's more of where you securely park your car over the weekend. So it's in that space. Nobody takes your space. Once you guys are set up there, either as a club or as a group, you're locked in for the weekend. Because in previous years, you know, it'd be like somebody had a favorable spot and then they'd leave for the poker run. They'd come back. Somebody else just moved into their space. Like, well, this isn't your space. Like, you left, you know what I mean? So we put a ixnay on that, and it was George's idea to number all the spaces. So we numbered all the spaces. So this way your space is your space for the weekend. So, and then groups get to be together. Based on the coverage that I saw from the drone footage and stuff like that, we can safely get about 50, 60 more cars in. And, you know, we're working on that. So excited to work on dialing all that stuff in for you guys and making sure that you guys are able to get out here and enjoy it. And even if you can't come out with your car, man, you can come out and hang out for the weekend, bowl, play poker, go on the strip cruise. There's extra seats in everybody's car, and people are more than happy to bring people along on the strip cruise. So it's really worth it, even next year, if you can't bring your car out, just to fly out and hang out for the weekend, because it's a great time. So yeah, it was an exciting weekend. And as you'll listen to this podcast, my voice is completely blown out after the weekend. So we did the podcast on Sunday, I think it was, and Rick was here at my house, and so I said, dude, let's sit down and just do a podcast. And as you'll be able to listen to this, my voice kind of blown out, a little bit annoying to listen to it, but you know, listen, what can you do? It's not about me, it's about Rick. So I'm excited for you guys to get this podcast. Rick's got a lot of rich history in the hobby, and between working with Steve Timms, he's real close with, just involved in the scene in early Southern California, and then transplanted to Arizona later on in life. So great guy, excellent story. I know you guys are going to appreciate it. So if you enjoy this podcast, make sure you share it with all your friends and help grow Let's Talk Dubs podcast listener base, because we love when we grow organically through our listeners sharing this podcast to one another. So guys, without any further ado, let's get into it this week. Rick Stanchfield, driver of Tuff Enough, drag racer, engine builder, and tranny builder, on this week's Let's Talk Dubs.
You probably don't know that there's a new Volkswagen out that doesn't look like a Volkswagen.
Okay, everybody. So on today's show, we've got a gentleman I've been tracking down for a long time. I met him through my buddy John Osmondson, and it's Rick Stanchfield. And so Rick has been at drag racing and into VWs for quite a while. He's started racing in the early and mid 70s, and he had a car called Tuff, and then moved on to building engines and then transmissions. He's mostly been known for building transmissions for a long time. He's relocated to Arizona. And on today's podcast, I've got Rick Stanchfield. Rick, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Hey, so, we've been trying to get this done for a long time. I've got you here in the studio, and you just helped me out a bunch at one crazy weekend. So that was fantastic to have you there. My voice a little bit blown out because all weekend long we've been kind of going hard at it, just making sure everything's running smooth for our show. And, Rick was a serious help over there. So appreciate you being there for us.
It was a great time. What a great show.
And so we're glad to have you here. Now, one of the things, Johnny always referred to as Rick who builds my transaxles and stuff like that. Like, he's the guy, dude. That guy's got history. He's got this, he's got that. He drag raced Tough Enough for a bunch of years, and he still got the Tough Enough car. But the way that we always start the podcast is, what's your VW story, and how did you get into Volkswagens?
Bought a car in 73 or 4, just a regular bug, and was doing things with it that, I don't know, turned the rear wheels inside out to fill the wheel well. It was never around hot VWs. Went to a bug-in 13, sat in the spectator side, looked over and seen all those cars, all the gassers. Piqued my interest, went home, bought a really nice 64, and thought, this is a better car for everything I want to do in life.
What year was the other car?
I think it was a 62, something like that.
So you found the 64 and you thought it was better.
Oh, it was a beautiful car. Zero rust. Oh, God, it was a beautiful car. I ended up painting it lacquer. It ended up being a really nice street car. And one day I was out messing around and heard that sound. Walked around the corner, and of course I came to know him. Steve Sims had his club over there, DZK, which, by the way, later I was part of.
What does DZK stand for?
Der Kleiner, hang on, you got me on that. It's, I'll come back to that.
All right, we'll come back to that.
Because I can't remember the exact
deal.
Problem. It's been a long time since I was in DZK. Der Zotting Käfers. Dang, can't believe I forgot.
Nice.
So I turn the corner, and there's the sound, the smell of Volkswagens that had just driven from Santa Ana to Fullerton. And make a long story short, I met Steve Sims, which he was building a chop top in his garage, which later was Terry Shepard's car, and I think then it ended up being around. But meeting those guys set me on a path. And by the way, Steve Sims worked for Gene Berg. Sent me on a path.
What did he do for Gene Berg?
Selling parts.
Oh, so he worked there at the counter
for a while? At the counter, yeah. So I went and bought K-Drons. I bought center lines. I forget where I bought the center lines, but I was a regular at the Auto House on Beach Boulevard.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember the guy that was working there at that one?
Yeah, I'm bad at names. Sorry about that.
There's a guy, Ed Craig, ran one of those over there.
The guy that worked there had the green car with BRMs.
Yeah, Mike, the green oval or the green split?
It might have been the split. I'm not sure.
Mike Mahavey's car or interesting.
And, I didn't get to know him. I just went in there and bought parts. And that was...
You're just another customer.
Oh, just another customer. And sent me on that path. And then the path led to building, actually, I'd bought some heads from Gene Berg that were off the Hugh Kelly car.
And that was and those were single port heads?
No, these were Fumio heads.
So, and the Fumio heads are famous for having the straight exhaust tube welded right into the head?
that's some stuff that Fumio did, but not on his regular drag car heads.
So his regular heads were just stock castings, fully ported.
Yeah. So there went the K-Drons. But by the way, I was so smitten by going to the bug-in 13 and sitting in the spectator side that I was there the next race with the K-Dron motor.
And how often they do those bug-ins? Every 6 months?
That was at the time we were jamming with them.
And then, so right out, I mean, in that 6 month period of time, you're going from a stock motor, single port to like race.
I'd already had the single port with the 110 cam with the Holly bug spray on it. So I put the K-Drons on it and ran a 1599.
I mean, and honestly, to put things in perspective, right? I started looking the other day. I'm looking at this old Car and Driver magazine, like Riviera Grand Sport is running like a 1560.
Yeah.
So when you're going up against a Riviera Grand Sport, you know, and you're running against a car like that and a little Beetle, and you're running neck and neck with them, that's getting those guys pretty mad.
Yeah, but that wasn't enough, because then the heads came up and I bought them, and now I've got a street car. Now that sucker was fast.
And you're doing a stock transaxle this whole time at the time you're doing this?
No.
Who built?
I was building my own, because the first gearbox that I bought from a guy named Steve in Fullerton, I'm bad about the last name. I broke it in the alley.
Yeah, he probably doesn't want his last name known anyway.
You're exactly right. I don't even know if he's around anymore, but
probably stopped building transaxles.
So I just, that was the path of building my own transmission.
And you never got nervous because I understand, like, you need special jigs and stuff like that to build them. I mean, if you don't have any jigs, can you still build a transaxle if you're determined enough?
Well, the first one I had, to the point of getting it jigged, there was a German guy. I took it to him to have it jigged, because that was the snake oil that I had heard. You have to have a jig. And everybody out there, if you ever want to try to do one your own, just cut the case out.
Just cut a case?
Cut an old case out.
And you'll just see how the gear stacks
to
together.
this
just
day,
presses on there.
I have all the other jigs. I use a cut case jig.
You know, my buddy Jim Barbeau, who used to own Desert Racing Performance here in town, when I watch him build trans, and I love my buddy Jim. He's a little bit of a hillbilly, and he built off-road trannies for all the guys here in town. And I'd say, how do you, like, I'd talk to him about how, you know, he always simplified everything. Oh, bud, it ain't that hard, you know. And I'd say, well, how do you know that you just tell by the way it feels? I said, well, like when slop in the gear, it's all by feel. Yeah. He said, as soon as you feel how it's supposed to be, you know it's supposed to be right. So you don't need a bunch of fancy this, that, and whatever. He's like, you know, and I guess it's one of those muscle memory things, like over time you just kind of get the feel for it.
Actually, that is something that Johnny had told me the first few transmissions I did for him. They were always in a hurry and got to be at the race the next day. He commented about my muscle memory. I didn't think about it, but I've done them for so long, and yeah, it's all feel. As a matter of fact, I can build one blindfolded too.
Can you really? Have you done it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you just get in a bench race
all
with a guy?
All the kids that were hanging out at the shop challenged me one time. Well, do you think you could do it with the blindfold? And I said, I don't know. Let's give it a try.
And if you got a transmission, like you've got all the parts laid out for the transmission, all blown apart, how long would it take you to build a transaxle?
Oh, I mean, you know, that's going to be the argument of the day, but let's
correctly, like a transmission that you put your name on.
I can still build one pretty fast. I'm probably within one of the faster builders. I don't ever like to say anything more than that.
Okay.
But I'm up there. If I want to, I can pour the coal to it.
Now, so you start building. So where do you start getting your experience in Volkswagen engines? So you build. You have the street bug, you get the race heads, all that stuff, and now you got yourself a fast street car. You got center lines now, no more inside out wheels. You got 48s, you got no more K-Drons, you got dual port heads, no more, no more single ports. Get the car on the track. What do you run the first time? And it's a street car, but you take it to the bug-in. First time you race at the bug-in, it's a street car.
Well, the first time was with the little one.
Single port, right?
Yes.
When you come back
once
out.
I built it, I went right into the mid-12s.
So it was it was 6 months later, you left determined, like, I'm coming back and I'm going to be a contender.
Yeah. Well, no, that took a little while. It was when I just wanted to be a part of that show with the little motor, the single port motor. And then I monkeyed around with that for a while. And then
kept trying to make chicken soup out of chicken poop.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're going through that whole thing, and then you build this race motor, and right away you're running the 12s. what class is that you're running? Is it do they do it by times at that point? Volkswagen ones?
No, it was just pull up in the lanes, do more of just like a bracket
Like a
race
dial-in?
style, the bracket race deal. Yeah.
And so you're running right out of the gate 12s, and you're getting some people's attention at this point.
Yeah, and I'm eyeballing those gaps.
And so are people looking at you going, "Hey, who's building your engines for you?" And you're like,
back then a lot of us did it on our own. It wasn't just me that was determined to do my own stuff. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of us, that did our own thing. And then once you get, skipping ahead a little bit, once I got into the gasser deal, then everybody, and, most everybody built their own stuff,
Now, so you start drag racing. Mm-hmm. Now, at this time, what are you doing for work? You're doing
drywall.
You're doing drywall. How long do you do drywall before you start getting into getting paid to do Volkswagen stuff?
I was in Pasadena on the top of a 12-foot ladders with a 16-foot pick. A pick is just a plank against a wall in a big room, and I started doing transmissions out of my garage at the time. Mm-hmm. And I could make more money at home at night than doing the drywall. Plus, it scared the crap out of me to be up that high and looking down at the concrete. So kind of quit taping at that time.
So you just went right on and doing your own business. I'm just going to build transaxles for people because everybody's building motors, but everybody thought there was some mystery to building transaxles.
Yeah, that there's a lot of people doing it now, but there was... Yeah,
there's not actually. Like here in Vegas, there's like 2 or 3 people, if that.
A lot of people think it's snake oil, and it really isn't. It's just parts.
Now the key is again we talked about like muscle memory, kind of how it goes together. Once you get that understanding, then you can see. And what I hear from my buddy John at RC Trans, who just he just stopped building transaxles because it's just impossible to get parts, and he's just tired of not being able to make money because trannies just sit waiting for parts. So he's out of it. Parts are still difficult to get.
Oh, horrible. That's horrible.
And I'm surprised the industry's not big enough where someone's just not manufacturing replacement parts.
Well, they are. It's just that now the prices have gone up so much. I just stopped doing my last big Econo transmission account. And now I just still have a floor full of them, but I'm a lot more picky now about what I do.
But when you say an Econo transmission, it's like your basic bare minimum rebuild.
A basic stock transmission that you don't buy everything.
Right, just replace what needs to
be replaced. If people really knew out there, if you buy all the sliders and all the forks and all the stuff, anybody can build that. But go ahead and tear down a bunch of 6-volt trannies and make one of them work.
Yeah, that's the tough part, huh?
And stay away.
Yeah. So your first job you get in the Volkswagen thing is you're just working for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
always
now you and I talked for a little bit because we talked when you're good friends with Steve Timms.
Oh yeah.
And he passed away. But you guys were friends through drag racing, or you worked for him, or how does that relationship
once I chopped
start?
Tough enough.
So hold on. So we're jumping ahead a little bit. So
I know that. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. You get you buy the 64. You had the 62, you buy the super nice 64, and you're making that your new street car. Mm-hmm. That gets to be too fast for you. You're running, because you're running at the track just to get your certified time, but you're doing most of your racing on the street.
Yeah.
At the Nabisco plant?
Nabisco, we raced behind small car we called it Pacific Stereo. In fact, I drove Gary Berg's streetcar a run there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've driven a lot of cars.
Now, with Gary, what's your relationship with Gary?
Through just the drag racing, knew him. And then we were heavy in the, what do you call them? What are they?
Gold for the gold?
No, not at the track,
the Berg rallies?
Not the rallies, but just like the stuff that we used to do, go to Shakey's Pizza, and through all that early days of all that street racing, that's how I know Dino and, everybody. You just get to know everybody, especially when you have a,
pretty
12-second street car. Yeah.
So you're running mid 12s, and then what makes you switch to like, that's it, I got to build a dedicated drag car?
Too dangerous.
What was the experience that was too dangerous?
So running 165 radials, and I had the car set up to where it would actually work a little bit, obviously blow the tires off. So you're blowing the tires off through the intersection, and then you start pulling through. By third gear, you're humping. And actually, I was going home, and I just got a wild hair to give it a run. And it wasn't a big dip in the street, but just the whoo. And I said, that's it. And Art Safel had crashed the Mad Pineapple at the time. Him and I had a shop together. And
so you had a shop building transmissions. You was doing motors? Or
I was doing a lot of different stuff at the shop. Mainly a place to park my awesome street car. And he crashed the Mad Pineapple and was going to throw it all away. I said, can I cut the top off? There's the beginning of ruining a really beautiful street car, but Tuff Nuff was born.
And Tuff Nuff was the car that you still own. Tuff Nuff today. And that's a 64
bottom with the oval top.
So you sectioned in the oval top section to make it look a little earlier because it was more
perfect 4-inch chop. Legal 4-inch.
Is it
chop.
4-inch? Is chopped 4 inches?
Just chopped 4 inches.
Nice. And so
no pull, none of that kind of stuff.
And what size motor you put in Tuff Nuff when you get it?
I got an 82 millimeter crank, stuck with my 90.5s.
Now, back in those days, I got a question for a guy like you that's been around like that. Well, what's the story you saw? I don't know if you saw on the bottom of that shelf over there. I have a full circle, the SPG cranks. Mm-hmm. Drag racers really didn't care for those?
Well, if you went to the drags and seen all the holes in the tops of the blocks, you'd understand why they didn't run them.
Those all from SPGs?
Yeah, the way the crank goes together, the rods just, if they would have made a rod that was unbelievably strong, I mean, look at Harleys. They run a roller bearing, journal. Some of them are plain, I guess, now, but I'm old school. So they could have been better. I remember looking at the roller skate and just a big giant hole in the top of the block.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they couldn't take the big RPM.
So my understanding was it was the hard launches would tear them apart because that shock would go through and just twist the crank apart. But it seems it makes sense for like high speed, long term RPM running.
Yeah, trying to twist it 9 grand that don't work out all that well.
And so your welded crank, your 82, is it a counterweighted crank?
Mm-hmm.
So you get a welded crank, counterweighted, 48 IDAs, the
Gorilla rods,
the Fumio heads, but like Fumio stage ones, not the Fumio.
Oh no, badass Fumios. So they were right off Hugh Kelly's race car.
So these are off a proven race car. What did they switch to? That Lloyd Kelly switched to Berg heads.
What the deal was is Gene talked Hugh into running a set of his split ports. That was when Gene was really pushing the split ports. And
the split ports didn't work so well?
No, I think they had their time. Gary did very well with them. I mean, it's just that the split port probably would have very labor intensive, the way you got to weld everything up. I mean,
they
talked to Clyde about that. That's a lot of welding, a lot of work. Then Dean and his brother came out with the Superflow. There's your split port. Yeah.
So the original Superflow head was designed by Dean Lowry?
Dean and Ken, yeah.
The Superflow head itself, which was basically a brand new casting.
I think they're ARPM or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of names, a lot of...
So the Superflow head comes out, and then that's like the next big thing. But you're running Tuff Nuff, and what year are you campaigning Tuff Nuff?
So running a really fast street car at all those races, I met, which was a lifelong friend of mine, Steve Timms. And, you
guys are the same age?
I remember, he was just, I think, a year older, a couple years older than me. I remember the phone call, hey, where can I get spindle mount wheels? Where can I do this? What can I do that? And he was awesome, and Yeah, we had a lot of fun racing together.
Now,
No doubt.
you met him because he was drag racing. You guys were both kind of amateurs, kind of getting into it at that time.
He
or-
was ahead of me big time because he had already ran the Goofy Grape. And the Goofy Grape,
What was that running?
He called it a piece of crap. It ran low 11s, but it was
All motor.
just, we all run all motor. I'm a purist when it comes to that.
Are you?
Yeah. Sorry, but I'm a purist.
My buddy Adam Wick says turbos are for guys that can't tune carburetors.
Me and Adam see eye to eye on a lot
I
of
like
things.
to see a big thing that could just shovel some power through there.
Yeah. Yeah. We, in fact, the chop, when it got away from me for a little while, I sanded it off. It had turbos are for sissies.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
And so you're campaign tough enough. You get it out there and you run it for how many years? From what year to what year?
It was, man, I was a beast in the late 70s into 80. And I got a wild hair to move to Northern California, and Eric talked me out of the car.
Why'd you move to Northern California? Women?
Just kind of thought that it would be let me tell you out there, folks, geography don't make any difference.
Yeah, you thought, oh, I'll go to the mountains and go.
Geography don't do anything for a
Yeah.
relationship.
So you end up moving away from it, and you sold it. Who's Eric? You sold the car to
Eric Ballard,
Eric Ballard. You sold him Tough Enough.
tough enough, yeah.
And does he race Tough Enough?
Oh no, well, I don't really want to. He had a bad experience. He took the car to the track and spun it around. He had me have the neighbor of mine up there in Orville paint it candy apple red for him,
Did he change the name on it?
and there was no name on it.
What year did he spin the car on
It
the
was
track?
81 or something. I don't remember. It was
So after that, he's like, "Hey, I'm spooked
he
with the
spun
car.
it
It
out.
don't
Steve,
drive."
yeah. He was. I'd introduced him to Steve, and him and Steve were friends. They did a lot of stuff together.
Now I heard things about that Eric Ballard. He's kind of a brainiac kind of guy. Like he's really into like going down different paths. That like, everybody's going this way, he's going to try this. Even though a lot of people say A, B, and C doesn't work, and he's like he's going to be committed to try to make C work. I mean, I
got a lot to say, but I will say one thing, because it's fair to say. I campaigned, I built and drove all of his cars. Mm-hmm. And it was his money.
Now, which were those?
My hands.
Which were those cars?
Well, the red car was the one that set all the records.
No name on the car.
Never no name on the car.
Okay. What records did it set? What's the first record you set?
We went record hunting. So the first one we went after was BMC.
What is that?
But B modified compact.
Okay. This is all NHRA or this
All
is
NHRA. That was Bear's record, and we set the record.
what was the record?
I think it was. I think Bear had it at 1180, and I forget the exact time. I wish I had all that with me, but we went down to Florida, and I set the record. It was faster. It wasn't crazy faster because Eric had put the sender in, and the silicone had dropped out. And I kept telling him it's missing in high gear. There's two stories about that, but missing in high gear. Well, the silicone was getting down there and blocking up the pickup.
The sender of what?
It was a stock fuel tank. So the top sender,
So you
without
put
the
silicone
garbage
around,
on it, yeah.
put silicone around the flange
and put it down, and it goofed up.
and silicone and
So-
gasoline melt silicone.
But I
brings
just
it.
want to make sure I say all that record hunting we did and all the records we set, the one I'm most proud of is the AMC record.
What's the AMC record?
A modified compact.
What makes an A modified compact? Is displacement and weight?
Displacement, weight.
And you're racing any kind of compact car. It can be a Chevy.
There was other modified compacts, but basically NHRA had those classes for us. A, B, C, you know, and then towards the end they had D, but they changed it because we got kicked out of modified eliminator.
Why?
We went to super stock. NHRA just does things like that every now and then.
If you're
What
dominating
it
the class,
was
they'll
is
push you out of it.
attendance, kind of like NHRA competition eliminator at the time. Right now, there's not a lot of people doing it, and it's the best class in the whole world, but very expensive.
Why is it the best class?
Because all those classes from modified eliminator was the money wins. How much time and money do you want to put in it and win? So the A record was probably the most I was proud of because we slaughtered it. We didn't just set it; we slaughtered it.
What was it? What was the record you
So
set?
actually, the record we got was 1140 something. But the next day, I just told Clyde this story. You had to tear down and pump the motor if you set a record. And I went out there the next morning, and this was at Fremont, California. And it was a Fremont day. It was awesome. And it's unbelievable, and people probably don't believe it, but I can show them the time slip. 11:27 at 117 miles an hour in an A modified compact. 15 pounds an inch, little 1680.
1680cc motor?
That's what I set all the records with.
No way.
I ran, when I ran the Fiat, Daryl's Fiat, we had that motor in it. And
Daryl who?
What's that?
Daryl who?
Vuitton.
So you ran
Fiat.
his Fiat?
Yeah.
Why?
Steve was just, hey, put the little motor in it and take it and run it.
Oh, so like you guys are
Steve
all buddies.
owned it. Oh, yeah.
You guys,
Steve owned it.
So Steve owned the Fiat.
And he was running it with the big motor.
Got it.
He was running 1030s with it, with big motor.
And what'd you run the Fiat with that?
I ran a 1090 with it.
With a 1680?
Yeah.
No
But
way.
you know what? We ran, which is the old L gas, the CX, and with the 1680, I ran 690s in the 8th with that little motor. That was a screaming motor, man.
And so on a 1680, what was the weight on the car?
So when we did it in A, it was 15 pounds, so we weighed 1,500 pounds.
So you weighed 1,500 pounds.
15 pounds an inch.
And you ran what quarter mile?
The fastest was at 11:27 and 117.
And so that puts us at, let's see here. I just pulled up a horsepower calculator because I'm sitting here thinking, this is kind of crazy. 1127. I hit calculate. What was it telling me? Trap speed. No.
We were right. We were a little over two horsepower an inch.
Time need to be a positive number. Oh, I got an extra period in there. That means you're running 207 horsepower in that motor.
Mm-hmm. Probably a little more, really.
Well, based on this vehicle weight of 1,500 pounds, we're going 1127 quarter mile. That's a 207 horsepower, 1680 cc motor. How many passes you get before a teardown?
We never really tore it down much.
Come on.
I'm not kidding you. I built it. I built it at Lyle Cherry's shop in Fort Worth, Texas. We did everything right.
So you knew Lyle Cherry too?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So how do you know Lyle Cherry?
Racing, and then Eric was real good friends with Lyle, and we wanted to go to Florida to race, and so I took the red car to Lyle's shop, and at that time we were going to go to Baton Rouge.
1680. What kind of RPM you running this car? Red line.
About 11.
No. 11,000 RPM.
Oh yeah.
What kind? What's
Back
what's
then
the
we
crank?
didn't have ignitions.
Are
man.
you
We left on the springs.
Are you undersized crank?
No, not at the time.
So what do you run? What you run a 69 crank?
Yeah.
And what? 80,
69 by 88.
69 by 88.
Yeah.
And you're running how much compression?
All we could do.
So you got
Everything you could possibly get to it. Yeah.
Well, I got a whole crate full of Brazilian cylinder heads. We could probably make a bunch of 1680s
Yeah.
at 207 horsepower.
You don't do it right, they'll blow right the hell up.
I mean, those Brazilian cylinder heads have like maybe 30 cc's in a head.
Yeah. Yeah, we had almost no CCs in in the heads.
That's wild.
Big notches. Only 42 by 37.5 valve size.
And run 48s.
48 regular, 48s, 42 millimeter matures.
And you'd go a bunch of what kind of camshaft?
Yeah. Well, that's all the secret sauce there.
So the camshaft.
Actually, somewhere loosely around an FK89.
But this is before the FKs came out. Before the FK89s or around there?
No, they was out. FK89s.
So your secret, when you say your secret is like the overlap. Is that your?
Everybody changes the stuff around.
But I mean, for you personally, like you're because there's some guys that are like, this is the thing nobody's looking at, or that's the thing, and
I'm out of it. That, like Doug Gonzalez told me that I'm so far behind on cams right now, you know, like for the VX class. Anyway, they've advanced pretty far.
I mean, still to get a 1680, you would think with based on that in of itself, if the car continued to run, like if everything being equal, if you could get a 1680 to run 207 horse, a 2270 or 2332 should be able to put 300 horsepower out.
You can't. It's the efficiency.
Right. Well, I know, but I'm just looking at like this. But again, obviously,
back in the days of talking with Gene, volumetric efficiency.
So Gene Berg, you knew pretty well.
Oh yeah. And
what's your first time you meet Gene Berg?
Racing.
Just at the track?
Yeah, racing.
I remember
and buying parts. Remember,
Dave Cormack shares a story.
He wanted to sell parts.
Dave Cormack shares a story with me that he was at a bug-in and he had his oil cooler behind the fan shroud. And Gene Berg walks up and goes, "That's real smart, preheat your oil, huh?"
Yeah.
And walks off and he was...
Gene was opinionated.
He was
no doubt about
pretty
it.
offended by that.
He was opinionated.
But first time you're at the track racing and he comes over, talks to you, or you go talk to him?
I think the first meeting, well, the very, very, very first was when I bought the Cadrons on Orange.
So you went to Berg and bought Cadrons. Mm-hmm. Brand new out of the box, or they modified them?
Brand new out of the box.
So they didn't touch them at all?
Mm-mm. No.
And then
Singapore.
So he liked the Cadrons, or he just
liked them. Yeah, I think he wanted to sell parts.
Yeah,
and they're a good carburetor.
Yeah, and so you end up getting this. So now let's get back on with because we kind of jumped from Tough Enough.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's all right.
We jumped from Tough Enough. You campaign Tough Enough. You sell the car. You move to Northern California. Then you come back, and that's when you start racing with Eric Ballard.
Yeah.
How do you start racing? He calls you up and says, "Hey, listen, I hear you're a good driver. I want to get all these records."
We were buddies from way back when.
So was he a racer? Did he drive a car himself?
No, he didn't. He had some unfortunate experiences.
Yeah, so he just wasn't. He
That's why he put Steve in the chop.
He wanted to go fast.
We called, so when I was running it, obviously it was Tough Enough. Then it got called the chop. And Steve did most of the driving with the shop. And then I caught Eric at a vulnerable point or a nice top point, whatever you want to say, and I bought the car back.
How long ago did you buy the car back?
Oh my goodness. Like 87.
So you bought the car back in 87. When's the last time you ran that car?
We took it to Texas. It was the
Recently?
faded Indian red. No, that was during that time. Not long before I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
And we took it to Texas, and Johnny Heffler spanked me. Bracket racing.
What were you running?
Johnny was a good. Well, we had built an 1800, and we were having trouble getting the rings to seat. So I was changing the plugs every run. Every time I changed the plugs, it'd pick up. And I changed them for the first round. And the damn thing was running 11 O's, but I couldn't get out of it enough. I was ahead of him, but I knew I was running too fast. And I think 120 mile an hour car only went through at 100 miles an hour. I was scrubbing, trying. But Johnny is a very experienced bracket racer.
So you were trying to scrub speed to stay in your time, but you were too.
I knew I was too fast, right?
For you, you sandbagged by putting a slower dial into what the car could do.
No, I dialed it right, But it just took off. When it took off and went through the gears, I was going, oh, man, I'm in trouble here.
It felt really fast that day.
Yeah. Yeah, the rings were coming in.
Yeah. And so you're running, this is during the time you're running the red chop or Tough Enough.
I only ran it red. I think I ran it a few times.
Oh, this is when you get it back, you run it yourself, take it to Texas.
No, never ran it when I got it back. So I got it back all apart.
So you've never ran the car since?
The pan, Tough Enough's pan and title went on the red car that Eric built. See, he had it partially built, him and Paul Mattia. They had it partially built, and Eric took it all apart. And anyway, yeah, I got it. Fact is, the pan that I got it with is the Steve, he was a cuñado of Tim's. He hung out down there at the buggy house. Oh, crud. Anyway, it was the All Race. It's in the magazine. It says All Race. Mm-hmm. That's the pan that I have for the, It's not for it, but a pan I got with it. Put it that way.
So you get the car back. You haven't raced since then?
No.
But you said you drove a bunch of people's cars for him.
Oh, my goodness. I drove.
Is this just
Klingerman's car?
Like on a whim, like, hey, I can't make this race. Can you run my car?
No, yeah, just, people would, hey, you want to run the car? Sure. And then all of the cars, for Eric. And then, when
how long do you campaign cars for Eric?
Which time? We've had a rocky relationship.
But I mean,
the last time was in 2011, and I raced the Mean Machine. It was red because he'd bought it. I think it last was at the Bug Shack. I think it was here in Vegas. I don't know where it was, but
Bug Shack here in Vegas.
Yeah, it was red. I think he owned it at it. The Copen brothers owned it because Steve had painted it red.
I heard stories about the Copen brothers.
Oh boy.
That
we don't have enough time.
That they were less than stand-up citizens.
We just don't have enough time.
I mean, I can't remember.
Plus, I don't want any hits out on me.
I'm trying to remember what I heard from it, but I didn't know. Well, maybe I get him on the podcast one day.
So we bought the Leighton car. This ties into a little bit of history here. We bought the Leighton car.
Which Leighton car? The red oval?
The red, the Lee Leighton car, the red oval. I picked it up.
When you say we, that's you,
Steve Timms.
Steve
Timms bought it. I shouldn't have added myself into that.
No problem.
He bought it. I went and picked it up.
What year is this?
Oh, crud. What year is that? Bro, I don't remember.
It's okay.
I'm bad about that.
All right.
Well, anyway, we bought it, took it to the shop, and I think we sacrilege to everybody, but we sanded the doors, built a motor, took it to Fremont, and off the trailer I ran a 1060. Bam.
What motor?
It was just probably a 2-liter motor. We always ran 2-liter motors, somewhere around the 2-liter area. And the reason I'm telling you that story is I was racing Kent Dahlberg, and when we left, that's why the front end of the Leighton car, that's why it's got a stock Volkswagen front end on it now, beam. It was a dart. You never knew which way it was going to go. So I think I went left. Kent went right. I look over. He's out in the grass. The run's over for me. I'm not going to crash the car. And then he's over in the grass. So I knew I'd won the race. Well, he took off. So I kind of chased him. Well, that commotion, one of the Copen brothers jumped on the back of our tow truck. But he was looking down the track. My buddy was in the back of the truck yelling, "Go, go, go," like I could hear him, but a lot of people do that. So the kid that was driving the truck we used to tow the car, cut the clutch, took off. Well, one of the Copen brothers flipped out of the back of the truck and hit his head. It's actually a bad deal.
Really?
Yeah, he went into convulsions and everything. It was no fun. I didn't know anything about it because I'm in the damn car down the track. Yeah.
That's why.
That was the beginning of running the Leighton car.
And so it ripped the front end off the car?
No.
Oh.
No, I just went over. I didn't stay in it. I just went over. But I can't talk too much crap because I did crash the Leighton car.
What front end did it have on it when you
The
guys
friction, the Nino friction front end, straight axle.
and that's like out of like a Ford or something like that?
I don't know.
Is that what
It's
they
just a
run-
friction
it's a-
front end that, hey man, it might have been a good deal back in the day,
What was the purpose of the friction front end? Supposed to give you like spring the weight up?
but they didn't care about none of that. They just wanted the cars light.
Now, with you and your history drag racing experience, half the battle is just getting the car to hook and go straight. Because you're losing time spinning wheels and not hooking up.
Yeah.
Are you pretty well savvy at getting a car dialed in with respect to rebound and all that kind of stuff?
I'm very proud of myself, and I will do a little patting on my back. I could, during the time of building all those cars, record hunting all over the country, I've always prided myself. One of my fastest passes is the first one of the day. I'm not one of those guys to get to the track, and you can ask any of the old racers. The car ran right off the bat, and it just comes with being probably friends with Steve and being savvy at doing it. Go to the track and be all screwed up, and it wasn't us.
What's the key on a budget to get a car to hook up? For a guy who's a weekend racer and just wants a car to hook and go, what is some of the, like in the early days, the cost-effective stuff you guys are doing to get the car to hook and go straight?
Drill the front shocks out.
Why?
I know that sounds retarded.
Like when you say
old
drill
school.
them out, like
Yeah, you take
no
part
pressure
of the fluid out, and you get them so they come up real easy for a certain period.
for weight transfer.
Yeah, I talked to Clyde about that. They take them off, I think. But anyway, you get it so it'll hop the front end up. And believe it or not, even on the 66 that I'm racing right now, the rear shocks are the same shocks I started running in 1976. They're just Coney shocks.
But all conies are adjustable if you pull them apart and click
So
them.
I took mine apart and put a bit heavier spring in it, so it actually held even more. If you're helping me on the car and you push the shocks down, I'm going to yell at you
Oh, really?
because you can't get them back up. You can, but it's a pain in the butt to get them back up.
So you're talking for your cars, one of the things that you were good at was getting your suspension dialed into that car, hooks and goes.
Yeah. You want it to.
So the Coney shocks, which will last
It
a
holds
lifetime,
it down in the rear.
keeps it
I never
stiff.
told everybody all that, but yeah, it would go down real easy.
So it goes down, but it won't release.
Won't let it back up.
So it kind of keeps that
Stays
weight
down.
transfer there.
See, at the track, you can hear, you can't see it with your naked eye, but you can hear it. And when you hear cars leave the starting line, they go woo, woo, woo. If you slow motion that thing's porpoise and bad in the rear. You want it to hold down, stay down. You want the front end to come up. You don't want to do a big wheelie, although I love doing them. And then it just goes.
And then you can just hook and book.
Yeah.
So that's part of what you were doing. And then how critical with the shifter, like any kind of stuff you do, just make sure you got a shifter.
Stock shifter.
Really?
Yeah. I have an old Hurst wooden knob shifter that I run in everything I've ever ran. And then, or a stock shifter. Tim's was big on just running a stock shifter with the quick shift thing on it.
That's so funny.
Gene Berg's the one that taught me how to shift a car because I was just a kid.
Yeah, what'd he tell you?
And he said, put 2 fingers on it because it was a knob. Put 2 fingers, even on a T-handle, put 2 fingers on it. If you're pulling it back harder than that, you're not doing it right. The Berg boys, they'll tell you.
Like if you're just trying to smash it in the
Don't
gears.
grab a handful of the shifter and yank it back. I mean, that ain't going to get you nowhere.
Right. Because that puts more stress on the forks. I mean, from the transmission builder side, that puts more.
It just, everything's wrong with it. It's not really going to do a lot for you. you know.
Just getting your anger out.
Yeah, and parts. Money.
So you start building transmissions, and you're working with a couple shops. We talked about you had a bunch of shops by this place and that place. Your first shop is with
the first big shop that I did. I called it, I think it was Rick's Auto Works or something like that. And then I had came back to Southern California.
Riverside at the time?
No,
where
this
was
was
this at?
up north. And I came back to Southern California. Again, people, geography does not matter. And I was actually working out of small car. I rented like a little area.
Who were the guys that owned small car?
Kent Dahlberg.
See, I heard stories
But
about
really CB, well, back then we called it Claude's Buggies. They
Right.
really owned it.
Yeah. So, do you know anything about? So, I want. Do you know Kent? I mean, obviously, you know Kent Dahlberg.
Yeah.
And I heard the way the whole thing came to it. So, this is the story I hear about small car. Is that it started out as the Southern California shop for Claude's Buggies. And at some point down there, they just said, "Hey, we're breaking away from you guys. We're not going to be involved. We're just going to do our own thing."
No, it was called Small Car Accessories. And then they renamed it to Specialties and had Kent come down and run it. And then Kent did a very good, and then John Negretti also came down from up there, and they did a good job. You know, they did a damn good job. Kent built that thing up into a pretty awesome.
Now, how did they separate from CB Performance?
So I was gone by then, and the story I was told is Kent went away for a weekend, came in Monday morning, got everybody in a meeting and said, "By the way, this is your paychecks and we're done." And I know Rick Tomlinson.
Yeah.
He told me the story that he had to go down there, you know, because there's, you know, millions of dollars worth of stuff in there. It's kind of a bad deal.
And he
That's
just
their deal.
walked out the door.
I guess he paid everybody and closed and locked the place up.
Now, did you know Stacy that worked down there?
Yeah, I knew Stacy. I knew all of them.
So, because I'm talking to Stacy, that's where he first was building engines down there for a long time. He's been doing stuff for Old Speed now. I think he's retired to Havasu area.
Yeah, I mean, some of them I forget their names, and I don't mean to, but there was a lot of people to know.
And so you come back, you work for Small Car. How long you working for?
I didn't really work. It was my own deal.
You were a contractor doing transmissions for
Yeah,
them.
I was doing my own deal, but just in their little deal and doing them primarily for them.
Oh, so like giving them rent, like, or they're just,
the week Kent was a good guy.
you
He
worked
just-
it out.
Yeah, I had a room.
So I'm asking you think I'd get him on for a podcast?
Kent?
Yeah.
I don't know where he would be in the world right now.
I found him on Facebook.
You did find him?
I'm going to have to track him down.
Yeah, see if you will.
I'm going to say, I got to get you on the podcast.
Kent was a good guy.
I want to get the story because, you know, this is me from the magazine kind of guy, right? For me, I wasn't around the scene that time. I got in the scene around 88, 89, right? That's when I picked up my first magazine, started looking at stuff, right? But like you see, I have an award right there. That came with the Future Shock. Steve gave that to me because Future Shock won that award at Small Car in 1984, right? So it's part of the history with it. And it's funny because as I've started the podcast, I've always been kind of got into it in the 80s. The 80s is kind of my vibe. Couldn't afford anything nice till the late 90s, right? Anything decent. And then I've gone on to build a bunch of stuff of my own, like, but ended up, you know, now that we're doing it one crazy weekend and stuff like that. You know, this year we did a big throwback for the 80s.
It's awesome.
And I think I wanna do a specialty display every year of different stuff as we're looking at that. And it might, you know, Dave Rosique was there with that, the KOB bug. I forget what it said. House of Bugs. I think it was the HO. The chop top, the green chop top that was next to my car.
Right.
And so, at any rate, I'm thinking we might do a specialty feature every year of just a certain, paying homage to the VW hobby, and one year might do drag cars. We might do whatever, just to have some specialty stuff out there, because I think there's so much in this history. And because I've started doing the podcast, I start stumbling on these things. Like I'll do a podcast with one guy and he says, well, off the record, A, B, and C. And so there's always this vision I have in my head of like small car specialties is like, the 80s, it's like this thing that just goes boom, it explodes and everything. They've got the biggest car shows, all this stuff, and then it just fades out instantly, right? And I'm hearing stories about bikini girls and drugs and all kinds of stuff, and just the crazy stuff that was going on in the 80s, right? And it's like, and listen, that was the 80s and it was a thing, and but I really want to get
we didn't do anything.
I want to get the story. I want to get the story about, because it is a part of history, and there's so many crazy parts to the VW hobby. When you even look at like Tom McMullen, right, who the publisher of VW Trends, right? Like he starts out, he's got kind of a motorcycle catalog, and he's doing wiring and stuff like that. And he's a little bit.
That's because Bob Clark was there. He was the editor.
Yeah.
Bob
did you know Bob Clark?
Yeah.
He's still around?
He is. Him and Sam Shackelford Rancho, they're buddies. In fact, I think Bob has a office at Rancho.
I need to get him on the podcast, because I was seeing that as I started, because so my whole point in this long drawn out, sorry guys that are listening, but most of you should listen. You like when I do dumb crap like this. But as I go into kind of research, and I look at a name, like look at this article, like, oh, this is Bob Clark. And I'm like, who's this Bob Clark guy? Is he still around? And luckily for Facebook, I just keep hunting people down, right? And I send these creepy voicemails like, hey man, I'd like to do a podcast with you. I do a podcast on Volkswagens. Most people are like, what's a podcast? But there's always like I don't want to say a dark side, but there's always a different story, right? Like we all have that guy, you guys in your world, us in our world. There's always like that one guy who's like the guy that was like, yeah, stay away from that dude. He's a little, but it's in every era. There's always a guy that like, he gets a lot of recognition, a lot of this, but he's kind of a cheat and kind of but there's always like the shop that like on the surface he looked really good, but they were doing stuff really shady in the back. And I think it'd be fun to go down some of those roads, because like when you look at what the interesting thing, I had a conversation with my friend who started Auto House, Ron Roseveare. Yeah. His brother Lynn Roseveare ran the place. Ron was kind of the guy who started. I did a podcast with him. I don't know if you listened to it, but you really should listen to it. It's a great podcast.
I was buddies with Mark.
Yeah. So. And Mark's the son. Yeah. And so, but Ron, it's really, just the nicest guy ever. And that's so far before my time. But like last time I went to Utah, I went and we sat down and just talked at his house for about a half an hour and just talked about a bunch of stuff. And it was really cool because he gave me a lot of insight and a lot of history I didn't know.
Right.
And if you listen to this podcast, all this history that nobody's really talked about, because it's just such a, like, they want to talk about the flash and the glitz and all that stuff. I want to talk about what it was really like back then, what things were really happening.
Some of it we can't talk about.
But I think there's some, because I've talked to a friend of mine who's been in the magazine business for a long time. I said, listen, you need to give me all the stories, and one day when you're not here anymore, I'm just going to let them all out and be like, you know what I mean? And not in a bad, and it's not in a bad way, but it's just more of a way. It's like, here's some stuff that was really going on that maybe people didn't realize, Right. But I always find it really interesting when there's these other stories that are going on in the background, and there's just so much of that in the hobby. So Bob Clark, you're going to help me track him down. I want to interview him. I just want to know the history, because the funny part I look at, right? Like I know Ron Roseveare, he's Mormon like me, right? Mm-hmm. So here's a straight-laced Mormon dude who somehow got connected with Tom McMullen, who's like the party guy, the guy who's got a tiger at the house. Like he's just a different character. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, how do you two get mixed up to where he produces your first VW Trends, which is basically an Auto House catalog that was published by Macmillan Publishing, And he says, well, you know, him and Lynn were friends. And then he told me a couple other things kind of off the record that I was just kind of blown away by. But it was just, it's always interesting how these things kind of come together. And so I thought it was really interesting on some of these things. And so that's why, you know, when we start talking about these things, you say names, and I think to myself, I got to track that guy down and talk to him and see if I can get, not for any reason other than I just want to document the history of what was happening when it was happening. In other words, like guys like us, like, oh, look at this cool SPG cranks, and you guys are like, that stuff's junk. Like,
well, it isn't junk,
right? But it's not. It ain't for drag racing.
I'm not going to run it.
And because funny, I talked to Greg Aronson, right? Interviewed Greg Aronson, great guy. Talked to him about the cranks, and he says, you know, we ran a little of those cranks in small off-road cars. Never really had some trouble with them, but they were just a little bit heavy, rev a little slow, whatever. But you know, there's a lot of that different history that's out there now. Some of the cars that you've raced, so we obviously talked about you raced for Eric Ballard and a bunch of stuff that he did when you were record hunting. And the one you were most proud of was the AMC.
AMC, yeah.
And that was it. And
it was actually named differently at the time because we were in super stock. But yeah.
When's the last time you raced a car?
May 25th.
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
What'd you run? Oh, yeah, that's right. You're still racing.
Yeah.
You told me you were in Indiana or somewhere racing, right?
Baton Rouge.
Same difference. Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
A little different.
It ain't here.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
Here, right.
No, I thought you were somewhere up in the Midwest racing somewhere.
No, I went back for my birthday to Louisiana, and I took the orange car, which is a tribute to my best friend that passed away.
Your best friend being?
Rick Barnhouse.
Yeah, and Rick Barnhouse, what'd he do?
He was just a Volkswagen guy.
Another
truck driver.
Yeah.
Truck driver, Volkswagen guy.
Drag racer?
Not really. He did back in the day. Had a 56. His son Ricky, they redid the 56 together. Ricky still runs the 56. So it's actually a cool deal, and it's a tribute to Rick, and I really loved him, and he's gone. And so he always wanted me to do the car, and I said, well, who's going to drive it? And he said, Ricky. And I said, well, then you guys build it. Sorry, Ricky. And anyway, we did that as a tribute to my best friend.
And you helped finish the car?
Roger White, which crazy that you'd think I wouldn't let anybody else build a motor for me. He didn't really build it for me. He built it for the car.
Right.
But Roger White did the engine.
What motor?
Yeah, 2233, 2236 or
2332, yeah.
Big motors that I don't.
You're more of a small motor guy?
I'm a small.
Are you?
Small motor guy.
What's your philosophy behind that?
I've always loved the 82, 88.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I set a lot of records with that kind of motor. I went a 1025 at 128 miles an hour with that motor.
Wow.
Yeah.
NA.
Yeah. So that red car, when we talk about that red car, we did put a 2-liter in it for some of the classes.
Now, when you, we talked about you're a big carburetor guy. You like carburetors, and you said that on the car.
It's the only thing there is, isn't there?
When you're saying
is there anything different?
But the biggest carbs you run are 48s, or you punch 48s to 52s? Or
I never have.
So you've run 10 seconds on 2-liter motor with 48 IDAs.
Oh, yeah, 48.
Unmodified, not punched out, just 48.
At the end, we were modifying them a little bit, but, nothing like they're doing now.
So the car that you ran as a tribute car for your buddy in May, what'd it run?
I basically run at 8th mile, 720s in the 8th. Don't really run it to the quarter mile very often. It's got drum brakes on it. I mean.
Oh, really?
I did at Bakersfield. I went ahead and let it eat all the way because I was racing the 56. Ricky was driving the 56.
Yeah.
And we pulled up there together and raced him and I don't know, 118 miles an hour or something. And don't do it, guys. Drum brakes are no good for that kind of speed.
Yeah. Nothing sounds good about that.
It's no fun.
So let's do some transmission talk for a little bit since we got you here, and I just want to pick your brain on transmissions.
Now that I can answer real easily.
How many transmissions have you built, do you think, over time?
Oh my God, that I can't answer. thousands upon
Thousands of
upon
transmissions.
thousands.
All right, let's break it down. We're just talking about a transmission for my drag bug. So the drag bug, because I do the podcast, the name of the drag bug is going to be called the All Talk.
Okay.
So that's going to be the name of the car when I get it back from you. We're going to go through some stuff, and I was running. And the craziest part is like I ruined the car myself by just getting overhyped. I was racing a dude, Ricky Racer, the first actual drag race that I entered, which was that car. Sat here for like 4 years. I put fresh gas in it, took it up there with them dry rotted tires, all that stuff, and just took it to the track. Had to
Well,
put a
they
pan.
are dry rotted.
Yeah. We'll get new ones. Don't worry. And my thing was like, the car's here. Let's take it up there. Let's race. Let me see if I like it. And the car's really archaic. I mean, it's real. It is bare bones. It is a ghetto racer. Think it's a 2276 in it. Not 100% sure. Superflow heads or CB Performance, the aftermarket.
Haven't really
split
looked
port.
at it real close quite yet.
And so that car, what happened was, Johnny, my race director, Johnny, was suggesting that I need to get I got to get a two-step on it and a brake, a handbrake, so I can just pop the brake and go instead of having because I cheesed up. I was heading to the semifinals, and it was me and this guy, Ricky Racer. And then somebody was telling me if you deep stage on somebody, it's kind of a disrespectful thing, and it throws them off their game. And so that's what I did. I thought, well, if we're racing, let's just do that. So I deep staged him because they said he'll do it to me, right? So I ended up doing that, and then I just cheesed up. And if I watch the video over and over, and I'll play the video for you so you can give me your analysis of it. But I let the clutch out too slow. I didn't just sidestep. I just I tried to soft pedal the clutch, and that's what broke the transmission, apparently. Now, you saw the broken transmission came out of that?
No, it's still sitting exactly the way.
So when you tear it apart, you'll be able to tell by looking at it what happened.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be interesting to get that feedback. I want to show you the video.
Then I am a doctor when it comes to that.
That's correct. So now let's break down transmissions for a minute, right? We're talking about transmissions. We talked about building trannies for cars and stuff like that. And one of the things I said to you is you said, well, what kind of trans you want to do? Let's do A, B, or C. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, let's just do a bus box and get it over with. Because everybody I've talked to, one of the first podcasts I did with drag racing, one of the first early ones where we spent a lot of time talking about drag racing was with Scott. I can't remember his name. Him and his dad both race. He races the MP Bullet, the fastback. Scott Kelly, that's right. Thank you. See, it's not just you that forgets stuff sometimes.
That's awesome.
So I'm racing. Yeah, something make you feel better. It's a little confidence booster. So Scott Kelly, we're talking, and he said, instead of races on transaxles, it went to seasons. How many seasons do you get of a transaxle versus how many races? Because with the Type 1. And so my thought was like, my instruction to you is I want to have a drag car that I can park, pull it out, take it to some races if I want to go race and just have fun, but not have to wring its neck to get every inch of power out of it. I want to overbuild it and underdrive it so that it lasts, so I can have fun with it. So I can go bracket the car.
Most people would say, well, put a bus tranny in it. Well, I'm a Type 1 purist, and let's talk about Johnny again. We got 200, and it was street racing, but I don't know if the public has ever really went to one of those big V8 street races. That starting line's pretty sticky, and we got like 227 runs on a ring and pinion, and it did not break. I still have it to this day. He left in third gear, blew the third gear to pieces. Remember,
why did he leave?
This is a Type 1 transmission. I don't know. He let him tell that story. He left in third gear, blew third gear up and the input shaft. He thought he broke the ring and pinion because the piece went down and got jammed in between the ring gear and pinion. And I got a friend there at that race, and he calls me, what's going on with your boy? And I go, why? What's he doing? He goes, he just towed past me skidding brand new slicks. He didn't care. That's Johnny. He doesn't care. So my point is, I have no problem building a Type 1. I have a Type 1 transmission in the orange car. I'm not taking it out all the time.
So
Depends on how you want to drive it.
So, okay, so that's the key, right? How do you drive a Type 1 trans in a car so that it lasts?
The whole nation right now is screaming clutch management. I guarantee they're listening to this going, clutch management. And that's true. clutch management with a Type 1 transmission, and you're not going to take it in. You're not going to take it out.
What kind of clutch management are you talking about? You like the
I don't even have it. I don't even have it.
What do you have? Regular clutch?
I'm running it with I'm running the Arctic car with the stage 2 with the 4-puck. That's just me. I'm a knucklehead. I should put a rag disc in it. It'd make it probably a little calmer on the starting line and everything. But you do a rag disc or some type of disc like that, and you're fine.
So you think we can work with what we got? Have you opened up the transmission that I sent down there?
No, I threw up when I seen it because it got gusset on it's a mid-engine gusseted transmission.
It was the spare trans for that. The wicked sand car's not here right now.
Yeah.
So so we're gonna do that. So now talking about transmissions, okay? Street transmission, because I had Ricky Wright on here who builds a lot of transaxles.
I just talked with him.
Yeah,
last night,
and that was kind of nice to go to
catch up
to
with
go
him,
to an event like that where guys like that aren't drag racing and doing all that stuff, and they're there. They're just hanging out to enjoy.
I urged him to get in and do it.
Yeah,
I sold him a lot of parts. I sold him at one time. I sold him a lot of really, really good parts. I encouraged him. I encouraged Kevin, KCR, to do it on their own. I'm not a hater. I like it, and everybody. I think everybody's great. You know.
Could you teach a guy to build a transmission?
I've tried to teach. Well, you're teaching your replacement most of the time, or your competition, so to say. Most people, once they learn it and find out it's a little bit of a niche, they just open up and do it on their own. Which I don't care. I'm 70 now.
Right.
If I'll teach somebody anything.
Now
I do keep some secrets.
With building transmissions, what is the ideal transmission for the street? Like if you got to pick an ideal transmission for a street car, for a bug, running regular size tires, nothing crazy, and you're going to run anywhere from a 1776 to a 2-liter motor. They want freeway drivability. They also want it to be a little peppy. What do you give them the ring opinion to Final Fourth gear?
But you're asking a racer.
I'm just talking about.
So if you want to get on the freeway, of course nowadays it's big, the freeway flyers. There's a couple different ways to build a freeway flyer. You can either do it with the 388 with, like you heard Ricky say, 388 with the 0.89. In 388 with the 0.82, you got to have some stuff going on. You better have some good cooling because you'll burn your motor up. It isn't even going to turn enough.
My double cab's a different scenario because I drive.
You have an engine that you can lug down and.
I got a 2.6 liter in that double cab, and so that makes it. I mean,
I rode in it all weekend, or part of the weekend.
You weren't in it when it ran out of gas, and I tell you, so that's a funny story from this weekend. We got Johnny. Look, we love our boy Johnny, but I nicknamed him Johnny Drama because every time Johnny's touching something, it turns into some drama. And this is no exaggeration. I finally convinced my wife to go on the strip cruise with me. And I said, let's go on the strip cruise. I got her a Type 34 automatic. I said, let's drive that. I don't want to drive that. Okay, we'll take Zorba. So we'll take Zorba out, just you and me, cruise strip, listen to the radio for a minute, look at all the cars on the strip, and then get out of there. And I'm thinking as I'm driving, I'm like, shoot, Johnny's driving my car. And I was like, and we all know how Johnny drives stuff. He drives it like he's got a problem with it, right? Like he hates it. No, you do, Johnny. So don't say anything. And so I'm thinking, oh shoot, I wonder if he put gas in it before he decided to go driving it all around, because I don't care who you are, it's got 48s on it, and you cannot. I don't care how you drive 48s. They're not easy on fuel.
Yeah,
they burn a lot of fuel, especially because you got to get over that hump, and you're going to be right in the mid-range RPM to make it drive right. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, I get a phone call. Dude, does the gas gauge work on this thing? I said, if it says 3/4, that means it's empty. And he says, and this is no story. He's on the strip at Bellagio Drive, where they just finished building the F1 stage, or the F1 the seats, the stadium seating where they put in front of the fountains. He literally has 3 people in the car with him, and he's pushing the car now across the intersection. So Johnny gets to take his family out in the double cab, doesn't put gas in the car, runs it out, and then I have to head down there. So instead of going to I stop, I'm like, easy fix. I'm going to pull in a 7-Eleven. I'm going to get a gas can,
get 2 gallons of gas, go see him, be out of there in 15 minutes, enjoy my strip cruise. Well, 3 stops later, no gas stations have gas cans apparently.
Oh, wow.
So I can't find gas cans. I mean, I'm even looking for a gallon of like the heavy duty water gallons where I could just dump it out and put gas in.
Yeah, but they won't let you put gas in it unless you cheat.
Right. Yeah. And so at any rate, I call AAA, drive down there, wait for about 20 minutes when Bellagio security kicks me out of there. It's a whole scenario, but that's our boy Johnny. So I love him. That was with that. So you got to ride around that double cab.
Yeah, we went to what did we do? We went to Chipotle.
Had the power field.
I didn't.
I mean, he probably didn't get into it because he told me he babied it. He told me the baby.
He didn't. He did. He drove. He griped about it a lot.
About what? The shifter?
The shifter, yeah.
The shifter. You know, that shifter when I first put in there, it was excellent. And I got one.
It's not excellent now, or at least
I got one of those CRC
it wasn't
shifters.
excellent for him.
Somehow it's out of adjustment now. I mean, it used to click through the gears nice and easy.
Oh, I know it is because it'll nick reverse every now and then.
Yeah, not when I drive it, but yeah. You just got to get in a rhythm of it. But it is a little difficult, and I don't know why it's out of adjustment so much. I'm going to give it one last shot and try to get adjusted. If not, I might have to switch shifter because I really enjoyed it when I first got it.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of money on that shifter. So, but at any rate.
So back to that, I would say probably if I was going to run a little street car that wasn't like something wild and crazy, and I wanted to every now and then jump on the freeway, personally, I would do a 437 with a .82. I know that isn't going to be the popular thing out here, but it's snappy, 1, 2, 3. It's got a little bit of an overdrive. It's not down that far, and you could still get up and go on the freeway. So because I'm more of a racer-oriented human, I want it to be snappy. I don't want it to be slow.
Yeah. No, if you drive
taking off.
The interesting thing is if you drive a stock Volkswagen, they move with traffic pretty well. They geared them to move through traffic with 40 horsepower to push the car along.
When's the last time you drove a car with 40 horsepower?
Well, what I mean
in
is
a bug.
What I mean is they move through
on the street.
My point that I'm making is they geared them to move through traffic pretty decent. I'm not saying they're winning races.
Not nowadays.
But what I'm saying is
in the old days, yes.
But what I'm saying is they always matched it to where it didn't feel like the engine was straining to push the car. And nowadays when people have their options, and I think this is part of the challenge with the Volkswagen scene, right? Like in the V8 scene, you have 3 transmissions options basically, right? There's the manual, the automatic, and then you've got the power glide, right? Like for racing and stuff like that. With Volkswagens, you have just as many combinations on the transaxle as you have with the
it's unlimited.
With the engines, you know, like with Chevys, it's like 350, 383, 454, 502. Yeah. Right? No, not with Volkswagens. There's 46 different engine combinations. You know what I mean? Yeah. And everybody's got a different opinion. You know, some people say the 2007's the best motor, or the this, or everybody's got their different combinations and beliefs. And I think that's what makes the VW hobby so hard to stay with for the aftermarket company, because there's so many. They got 6 different sizes of pistons.
Well, I mean, people call me and say, so what do you think about a gearbox? I go, why not? And people don't like you saying that, but I say, well, give me your budget. Give me what you want to spend, and then we'll work with that. Because asking me what I want to do or what can I do, well, it's unlimited.
So let's talk about gearbox for the car, for my car. My drag car, 2276. What if I showed you the turbo setup that I have for it. I know you're a big believer in turbos. And the only reason that I like the turbo setup is this is my thought process, right? I'm already 3 steps ahead. So my thought is build this car where I can drive it, have fun, but I want to be able to, if I wanted to possibly take the drivetrain and put it in a drag and drive car. And turbo is the only way to go for drag and drive. Right. Because you've got the power adder when you need it, and you can lug it down.
You can dump it off.
Right. So that being said, when you get a chance, take a look at that whole setup down there.
Yeah, I will. turbo, you just use a taller stack.
fourth, right?
A taller stack.
Everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm running a 425 first gear.
What's the stock?
Orange.
What's a stock first gear?
380. Super Beetle's 378.
Right. So you obviously run a taller. All the gears are taller all the way across.
Oh yeah, the whole stack. For a turbo, you want to stack it up because the turbo loves it.
Right, because it can pull.
Turbo
through the gear.
loves that load.
Right.
Don't want the real quick, through the gear deal.
What do you think about 5-speeds?
I think they're great.
You like 5-speeds?
I personally, you got to really want to just have something to go fast on the freeway. And of course, people are going to hate me for this, or just to be cool, having a 5-speed, I guess.
Yeah.
And now they're extremely expensive if you can even get stuff to do it.
Yeah. Average 5-speed, I think, is running around $6,000, $7,000, I think, for a 5-speed, if you can find one. Yeah. I got lucky. I bought one for like $4,500 a couple of years ago, but I haven't gotten it yet. Yeah. It's in the mail.
Yeah.
My buddy picked it up for me.
Yeah.
And he wasn't able to, he's going to ship it to me somehow. Matter of fact, he was supposed to be at One Crazy Weekend. Maybe he was here and I didn't see him. I don't know. I was busy.
He was in his other truck.
I was busy doing
Goes back
something.
to another guy.
I don't know.
Yeah, another guy's story. It's in the other truck.
Yeah, it's in another truck. So 5-speed, you've built, because they used to have like a Mickey's 5-speed or Mikey's or Mickey's 5-speed.
I never messed with one of them.
There's Berg 5-speeds.
Yeah.
And then I heard that Berg actually made a 5-speed in a bus box.
I don't know. I'm not. I can tell you one thing about Berg and the 5-speed. I was there when he was going to the core place and getting parts and monkeying around trying to mesh stuff together. I was around for that.
Oh, when he was trying to figure out how to make a 5-speed?
How to make it happen, yeah.
Yeah, that's,
that was the kind of guy he was. He was like, I'm going to put an extra gear in this damn thing.
Yeah, put a stock fourth and then to get a close ratio fourth stack. Because looking at some of these magazines, we're going through some of the 1970 magazines, like put a Porsche 5-speed in your Volkswagen, and that's like ridiculously expensive.
And weak. They're not drag racing ones.
Can you build 911 trannies?
Oh, yeah.
So they're really similar to Volkswagen stuff?
Yep. I'll just say I do everything. I build anything.
Oh, really?
Anything and everything. I can do Caterpillar stuff.
Really?
I can build any of the automatics. I can build any of the late model electronic automatics.
So
when I'm building a Type 1 transmission, Bill, I'm thinking about other things. I'm not watching what I'm. Don't get me wrong, people. Right, it's not like I'm doing it blindfolded all the time.
You've done it so long, it's like pretty basic. It's all just go. It either goes together or it doesn't.
I had a challenge one time. How many could I build in one day?
Transmissions?
Yeah. Now these were.
Where were you? Where were you working?
I had a shop on Limonite in Mira Loma, California, Riverside, and we were doing a lot of gearboxes out of there. And it was a challenge. It's kind of a cool story. We had, I think, 11 of them sitting ready to go. And what I mean by that, so if somebody doesn't understand it, the builders will. So it's in the tub. It's ready to be put together. So
all the new gears are there. The new
I don't know
sliders, all that stuff. Well,
all the build with new stuff.
All the parts have been clean, prepped, and ready to assemble.
Building with new stuff is simple, but it's all qualified. It's all, the sliders are good, the forks are good. Everything that matters so it don't come back is sitting there ready to go. And my brother was getting them ready for me, my brother Steve. And by the way, my brother Bob, he's helped me out a lot through my life also. So they're ready to go. I think we had 7 of them that had to be, he was working on them. How many can you build? Think you could build 20? A lot of people are going to call bull crap on this, but that's fine. I don't care. I stopped at 18. My fingers were sore, and I stopped at 18.
18 transmissions in an 8-hour day?
It was somewhere around 8, yeah, somewhere-ish.
That's wild.
I wanted to drink some beer, and my fingers were tired, and I looked down, and the next 2 weren't really ready. So would have had to stop.
You said 18's good enough.
So I didn't make my 20.
So, that's pretty incredible.
Trust me, that don't happen now.
Right.
I'm older, and it takes now the parts. So back in the day, parts weren't so bad, and you heard this with your other podcast. Parts are the problem, and that's just the way it goes. Parts are a problem, and
it's not
I spend most of my time digging around like a chipmunk through parts to get good stuff.
So you just cores are just what you need for parts. What are the most popular parts you use?
Just for the Type 1s, just I can use earlier sliders. A lot of people can't. I can.
When you say earlier, you're not talking split case.
No. All tunnel stuff. But I do. I redo my forks. So I do a lot of things that make them stay away.
When you say redo your forks, what does that mean?
I use silicone bronze rod and weld them up and then remachine them.
Oh, you do that yourself because they're made of silicone bronze.
If you haven't learned yet, I do everything myself.
Really?
I do I really honestly, I'm crazy about that. That's something that the challenge for me is to do stuff on my own.
Now, you're in Phoenix or Tucson?
It's Surprise.
You're in Surprise.
Outside of Phoenix.
Okay. So you got a full machine set up at the house and everything.
I don't have much anymore. I do a lot of hand stuff.
Oh, really? You'll hand machine it?
I got to tell you this quick story. So we're building a motor for Jack Sketty, and we're at Steve's shop, Save a Bug, in the back of the shop. Jack was there. He was going to a race and monkeying around with putting the motor together and doing the rockers. Well, the stands were screwed up. And I was like, well, hell, there's a belt sander over there. All we got to do is true them up. And so just a quick little thing, we called it the sander mill.
Nice. So you just laid it all on the belt sander and flattened them out.
Just held it on there and flattened it out, cleaned it all up, and there you go.
What in your history in Volkswagen and the Volkswagen hobby, what was the worst part that ever came out that was just garbage that everybody thought was the best thing ever? Anything that stands out?
Well, the bad parts were back to Kent Dahlberg, I remember when they were going to Taiwan to get parts made. And I've always had a problem with the aftermarket stuff. And nothing fits. When I was doing the orange car, and I'm not trying to trash anybody at all, but we got door panels. What a mess.
What do you mean, aluminum door panels?
No, just regular Volkswagen. The orange car is like 66.
Oh, so you're getting some Chinese door panels and like all the holes are off, nothing's lined up. And
I finally got the doors on. Of course, here we are going to a race. So, got the doors on, the door panels on the doors, and got to the back. You look at the car to this day, they're tech screwed in. I said, to hell with that. The clips and nothing worked.
Yeah, everything's off.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to us doing a follow-up podcast.
Oh, yeah.
After we go through the drag car, if we go through all talk, the drag car.
If we ever get to doing story time.
No, we're going to do story time.
Well, let me tell you, I've got a bunch of them.
What's your favorite
We
story?
could get down a rabbit hole going. I can't start now. We're too deep. Because every story
connects to another one.
Going to a race, I told you one when we went to Fremont with the Leighton car when we first got it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more to that,
What'd they buy the Leighton car for when you bought it? And
I don't remember.
Why was Lee selling it?
I don't know why he sold it. The worst thing that ever happened was the trailer got away, because those trailers nowadays would be coveted.
That's the single wheel trailer for towing a Volkswagen, like
homemade single wheel. The one thing about buying that car is I have Lee's Zeus Craftsman
the tool
screwdriver.
Yeah.
I'll never let that go. Yeah. he handed it to me and he goes, "This is for the Zeus's." Okay.
Yeah, you know, his son passed away. Bobby passed away probably.
Yeah. I think I heard
a year ago.
Yeah. Dog on Facebook, you know, you hear everything.
Can't get away from anything. But I mean, you know, there's a lot of history out there. A lot of these guys are going to be gone, and it's good to get those histories, the history and the story out there. You know, you saw that I have the supercharged motor that I bought from Bobby.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be the supercharged motor that was there. Supposedly he'd gone all through it. I would love to build like a dune buggy drag car, just like a budget 60 style dune buggy drag car, and have that thing in the back. You know, I just bought another copy. I was I put on a swap meet the week before my event that I just did here. I put on a swap meet because I'm stupid and a glutton for punishment. So I put on the Las Vegas Auto Swap Meet, and I was there, and a guy I know he wasn't selling a bunch of parts. He had crates of magazines, and like an idiot, I just said, "What do you got with Volkswagens on the cover?" And so 1968, 1967 to 1969, there's a bunch of VW stuff starting to pop in the hot rod magazines, and there's one cover of Hot Rod or Popular Hot Rodding. And it's got a purple dune buggy on the cover and two dudes in the back pulling a motor out with a single 48 IDA on it. And it says Iski cams across top. And I'm just like, that's my vision of the car that deserves to have that motor in it, and just have it to where we could take it and do some traditional passes, you know, just some exhibition passes of an old school supercharger motor.
I'm not big on doing motors primarily because I'm too picky. But I wouldn't mind going through that motor. That'd be kind of cool.
Supposedly it's been all gone through.
Yeah.
That's supposedly.
That's what they all say.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
just rebuild.
Hold on.
It's just rebuild.
Hold on. Yeah. Wait a second. I think he was selling it to me when he told me that.
You're right. Exactly.
So
just rebuild.
Yeah. Maybe it would be fun. I don't want to build a project. I would love to find some kind of retro buggy and it doesn't even have to be a Myers Manx. It just be some offshoot that somebody used to drag race.
Like a rail buggy?
No, like a Manx.
Like a Manx style.
Like a Manx. You're going to have to drive it because that's too scary, I think, for me to drive.
Oh, I got an old school rail and buggy in my backyard, but you wouldn't want to drive it.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I got the 40 horse running and drove it around the neighborhood. This thing's a death trap.
Yeah. But I think it'd be cool to do something like that and do a little exhibition just because, you know, that motor is so cool. And there's been some debate online. Someone said, "Oh, that's not the motor from the Stinger, not the Stinger, but the Scorpion drag car that my friend had, Joe Horvath." They said, because that thing had Denzel heads. Well, I called Joe and I said, "Joe, that thing had Denzel heads?" I don't know. I don't remember. And you got to remember, and what people don't realize all the time is racers change things every couple of years. Like, it's not like, oh, well, this version ran the best. It's like, you know, people improve stuff to make it better. And sometimes when they, you know, if something's not working, the last person's going to keep it on there is a racer. They're just going to pull it off right away and go back to the old stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would love to see what that, even if we got a bug that was like a thinned out might even put that in the back of the red in the all talk bug just to put it in there. Cause that's easy enough to take to the track, put it in there, hook up the oil lines and run it and just see what it'd be. I mean, what do you think that 1900 that supercharger should run? I mean, supposedly that thing in that little drag rail, Scorpion drag rail, was the first thing to run 10 seconds. But I mean, you're talking bicycle tires in the front and, you know, but I think I think
those days, those cars were 1,200 pounds width drive.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever driven a light car.
Well, I'm going to push it way over 2,000 pounds as soon as I get in it. So there's that already.
Bump it up a bit.
That's it.
That's all when we were 17 and 18.
Yeah. When everybody had a size 32 waist.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm looking. This isn't going to be the last time you're on here. We'll get you back.
Oh yeah,
for sure you'll be back here next year. But we may get back. Maybe in December you get back.
Maybe in
here.
December.
Well, I'd like to shoot.
See if
for
I can
December.
get the red car going and bring it up here and get you in it.
Let's get the all talk mobile.
All talk and get you all talk. I mean,
is that a great name for a drag car?
That'll be cool.
All talk.
I like names. I like car names.
I'm there. I'm with you.
I like naming cars.
That's it. So, man, I've loved having you on here. We're going to do it again. Awesome. We're going to do some stories. We're going to do story time with Rick, is what I'm going to call it. Story time with Rick. You're going to write down some of your favorite stories, and we're just going to go through some of these stories because there's so much of the history gets lost in stories that aren't told anymore.
Right. And I will do an outline of it so I can tell you dates and times because I get a little lost in that.
And real quick, I'd never got to meet Steve Timms.
No.
Good buddy of yours.
Man. Come on now, I'm not supposed to cry on this.
But there's this thing that we have when we make friends, through our hobby, where we get a real solid connection, because both you guys are into this stupid hobby that really doesn't matter to the rest of the world. But it's one of these things where you create a sense of brotherhood with somebody. And it's always tough when something like that happens. But I'd like to do, I talked to Dean Kirsten not long ago. Bruce Samurda passed away, and I thought, these are guys I'm not able to get on the podcast. I'd like to get friends of theirs to come on and just share some stories about them.
And the funny thing when you said about friendships and whatnot, I mean, I'm out at the track with my brother Bobby and my brother Steven, and we're running the Tuff Nuff car or whatever, in the early days, even the street racing days. Well, you're around hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And I am always in wonder of how people do connect together,
right?
And then stay connected together. Some friends you meet and fades away, and then some they leave.
Yes, some you see you hang out with for a season, and you maintain, and you see them 10 years later.
And you like them,
like you never missed a day.
And then some you stay in contact with your whole life.
Yeah, I know. And I'd like to do that. I like to do that for guys like Steve Timms, because I know he was. Excuse me, because I don't know about saving.
I don't know if Greg would do it, but you might get Greg on here.
Yeah,
you might get Greg to do a podcast.
Now, Greg is
Steve's son.
His son.
Yeah, still runs the shop.
I would love to do, because I think it's fitting. I think one of the reasons, that I'm into the podcast, one of the things that started giving me more of a purpose for this was documenting the history, because of, I tell people this, a lot of my listeners heard the story 100 times, but I had a friend of mine interview my dad for a college project that he was doing about interviewing an immigrant that came to the country. And my dad, as I got older, used to just get on my nerves. He just irritate me because I don't know why. Maybe because he was getting old, and I looked at the old guy. That's not my dad. My dad's my hero. My dad can beat up your dad. He's got $100 in his pocket, and he's the toughest guy. That's my dad, my superhero. And when we start to see people like that change subconsciously, I think it bothers us, right? So, and I was looking back at some videos where I was with my dad, and I wasn't the nicest guy to him, and he passed away. I mean, it was 20 years ago. And, it was one of those things where it's like, in hindsight, so I called my friend, because my dad used to start getting into stories about Alaska, and when he worked for 2 weeks in a coal mine, and just nonsense as he was immigrating across the thing. And I'd be like, Dad, enough. I've heard this story. But then I think about where I'm at today, and the money
now
I pay,
you want these stories.
The money I'd pay to have that tape
of
those stories that he told. And so I think with me doing this, it's like one day someone down your family line is going to be able to listen to this and hear your stories about the stuff that you're into. And it's funny because people go, they're just dumb Volkswagen stories. But this Volkswagen hobby that we're into, so because I'm a man of faith and I go to church on a regular basis. I'm involved in my church, right? But I equate my VW friends like my church friends, right? Like we're both into this thing that not everybody's into. And we both know that if we're into this, we're a little different than everybody else. And some people don't get it, but we get it. And because you're into it and I'm into it, we kind of have this brotherhood that we know about. Right. You know what I mean? And it's funny because people don't understand that when I make these connections to what I tell people, because I talk about it in church all the time. I said, my VW friends are like my church friends. We're both into this thing that not a lot of people are into. And because
in alignment.
Yeah. And it requires, especially with Volkswagens, you can't just be like, I got money and I'm into it. You have to be into it because it's going to upset you. It's going to push you to the limit by breaking down, let you down, not being ready, always having an issue or something all the time. And you love it so much, you're willing to put up with the difficulties that require you to stay in the hobby because you love the hobby that much, or you love this thing that you're into that much. And so for me, it's like with all of us that are into Volkswagens, it's kind of part of who we are, you know. And it's and a Volkswagen guy, like you said, you don't got a big fancy machine shop, but you get it done.
Oh yeah.
VW people always have been really, really resourceful people. Like, we'll figure out a way to make it happen.
There were no parts back in the day.
Yeah.
Think of the early guys doing it. There was no parts.
Yeah.
My path of transaxles, we had a Super Beetle first gear. That was it. I started out with a regular first gear. Broke it, but I started out with it.
Yeah.
You know, so there was no parts. So yes, you got to be, and I'm not unique that I want to do everything myself. There's a bunch of us out there.
But there's a breed of people out there that if they don't have everything just perfect, they can't get through it.
Yeah.
And and then there's a generational thing too, because in this generation that we were in, it's like, especially, and it's tie back to Volkswagens. Let's say whether it was disc brake conversions or whatever, no one made something for that at one time, and someone had to figure it out. And then it became like this to that to this, and oh yeah, well, we know in the secret society of Volkswagens, you want to put 944 brakes on your bus spindle, you need to space the races out about a millimeter, 3 millimeter here, 4, and then do this, and it'll slide right on the spindle, and it's like. And nobody's getting a calculator to figure that out. It's trial and error. It's the VW way, right? Little by little and inch by inch. But it's something where all that determination, resourcefulness, where most people in the V8 hobby or other hobbies are just like, throw it away, get a new one. Do this, do that. There's millions of them available. And in our hobby, it's just not that way. So,
well, the V8 world, you just buy it. Now, don't get me wrong. We can't go into this, but competition eliminator in NHRA, that's all the Volkswagen people love V8s because they figure it out.
Right.
That's why when you go there, there's so many different combinations and everything. But yeah, they figure it out. You don't just buy it.
No, you got to be resourceful. And there's something to be said about people like that, because I think we're eternal people that have eternal hope. Like, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll get some baling wire, duct tape, and we'll make it to the end.
Yeah.
So, look.
Right on, man.
Rick, it's been a great time.
Oh, it has been awesome.
I'm looking forward.
I know I was tough about getting sitting in this seat, but the thing is, and it's still my worry, I'm really guarded about going down a rabbit hole because it could take up an hour.
It doesn't matter.
And yeah, now you got me a little more comfortable about sitting in front of one of these mics.
We got nothing but time. We got nothing but time.
And it's been awesome.
Man, I appreciate you coming
very
out. Thanks so much for helping out at One Crazy Weekend, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's we'll make sure you're here next year, and we'll see you in December, and we'll get you.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can get All Talk to do. If we get
All
it to,
Talk.
if I can get it to, because I was doing really good until I cheesed up on the transaxle.
Until there was no action.
I was doing good till I wasn't. So
Cool.
Well, great talking to you, man, and we'll have you back again. All right.
You bet.
Well, if you like that podcast, and I hope you did, make sure you share this podcast with some of your friends. I know my voice is a little bit blown out on there, but listen, I've got to bring it to you no matter what, right? Who can keep up with Let's Talk Dubs at 330 plus episodes out so far, right? It's a tough game. A lot of people get into it. We'll see who can last, right? At this point, pretty much everybody just re-interviews everybody I've already interviewed. But listen, man, hey, there's more than enough room for everybody out there, so go for what you know and see what you can do. And I definitely enjoy those. If you guys want, I'm going to be putting some Let's Talk Dubs, some of the One Crazy Weekend shirts. I've got some One Crazy Weekend Poker Run shirts available that are extra from the show. I'll put those up on the website for about $22 shipped. So if you guys want to get some, go to letstalkdubs.com and click on the store, and I'll make sure that you see those Let's Talk Dubs shirts available for the purchasing, and they're from One Crazy Weekend. So you can, even if you weren't here, you can have the concert shirt that you wore here. So and the only reason I'm selling them is I over ordered on them, and I normally don't sell the One Crazy Weekend the Poker Run shirts, but unfortunately I have an extra abundance of it, and I'm trying to make sure I get money back in the kitty for next year's One Crazy Weekend to make it bigger, better, and more awesome than it was this year. And I'm telling you, bro, it's awesome. I'm trying to work on a video. Unfortunately, I've got a lot of portrait footage and stuff like that, and I'm trying to work on a 10-minute video about One Crazy Weekend. In 10 minutes, it's just hard to get everything in there, but we'll see what I'm putting together. There was the build off. There was so much stuff going on. It's just nuts, man. So I'll be working on that for you guys coming up here shortly, and we got lots more to bring you. So definitely appreciate you guys for listening, and looking forward to seeing you guys at some events coming up. Not sure what event I'll be at next, but I'll definitely let you guys know where we'll be. This year didn't pan out for some of the events I was hoping to go to in the UK. But listen, there's always next year. So things change, and sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but they change all the time. So anyway, don't forget to, if you want to support Let's Talk Dubs, go pick up some merch at Let's Talk Dubs. And if you have any suggestions for podcast interviews, people you'd like to hear from, stories you want to know more about, send me a message at Bill at Let's Talk Dubs. Until next week, guys, later.
You probably don't know that there's a new Volkswagen out that doesn't look like a Volkswagen.